What is going on, brothers? What is going on? It is your dude, Mr. International Passport, here again for yet another feature classic. I want to say first and foremost, thank you everyone for the support for so far. Um, Much appreciated to my old subscribers and new people on the channel. I welcome you aboard. And I want to say, when you come in today, please like the video. Likes are very important. And of course, join the Patreon, please. Hit the super chats tonight, cop the merch. Make sure you join the new Reddit community that's pinned to our chat. And let's have a good time tonight in this live stream. So, in today's stream, we shall be breaking down Mongolia. I got a very special guest here with me called Mr. Joseph, who has taken the time out of his very busy schedule. You can see he's a very busy man. He's got a suit on. He's doing great things in his life, and he's here to break down Mongolia for us. Mr. Joseph, how you doing, bro? Oh, you're on mute. Hold on, bro. How you doing, brother? Whoopsie daisy. How are you, Joseph?
I'm good. How you doing, brother? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, bro. Loud and clear. I'm doing fantastic, brother.
Beautiful.
So, Joseph, I'm very happy to have you on here today, brother. This has been a stream in the making for a couple of weeks now, or a couple of days. So, Joseph, give us a brief intro about who you are, where you're from, and anything special about you before going any further.
All right, brother. I really appreciate you having me on today. My name is Joseph James. I have a YouTube channel. It's a small channel. It's really just for fun, but it's all about my hobby, which is playing American football abroad. So did some time in the Army. I work in healthcare, and every chance I get, I try to play football for a season in another country, American football. So I think that's a pretty interesting thing. Most people don't realize that there's American football all over the world.
And where I'm from, brother, is football in what you call soccer. That's the dominant sport.
I understand, and I respect it. But American football is my sport, absolutely.
That's true, brother. But I would say the football that you call soccer is a real football.
Hey, I love to watch during the World Cup. I think that's when everybody gets serious. But other than that, it's too many yellow cards and flops for me, man. Some of those flops are crazy, man. Some of those flops are just. You seen the Key and Peele skit where he jumped on the ground, rolled around, went to heaven, and came back as soon as the ref put the yellow card up. So, yeah.
No, you're a joker, fam. Yes, indeed, folk. So, Mr. Joseph,
Yes.
let's get straight into it, brother. Mongolia.
Yes.
Wow. All the way in Central Asia. Can I ask you first and foremost, brother, as to what you were doing in Mongolia in the first place? What possessed you to go to Mongolia over Japan?
Well, I was there for official business. I can't be too specific, but it's for work. So I was working at the time. But it definitely gave me an opportunity to go someplace that I probably wouldn't have gone to if it was just up to me. So haven't had that opportunity. I made the most of it, and I'm happy to bring back the intel for you brothers tonight.
Thank you, Joseph. So my first question to you in regards to Mongolia is, I'm guessing you were in the capital city, and that's Ulaanbaatar, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome, bro. So tell me about the way of life out there in Mongolia, bro. Is it a conservative culture? Is it a liberal culture? Give us that aspect, brother.
Yes, sir. Mongolia, first of all, you have to understand that everything is tied back to their history. So the whole world to this day speaks of what they would call Genghis Khan. And the Mongolian people are very, very tied to Genghis Khan and his reputation and his fame worldwide. So the history today, the culture today is almost like a reflection of the past, in the sense that it is very conservative, very, very traditional. The men are very masculine. They take very much after their father figure, historical father figure, Genghis Khan, and all of the Khans. So the men are very masculine, and that really flies in the face of a lot of what people think of when they think of Asian men. Not so much nowadays, because we have, of course, Korea and how popular Korean subculture or Korean pop culture has become worldwide. but I'm a little bit older, and I can remember when just being Asian, and I'm half Asian myself. I'm half Korean. It was nothing really, nothing strong about it in the minds of most people. Mainstream, of course, mainstream. And if you go to Mongolia, you'll see the guys there are, you know, more people would more so think of them in terms of the behavior, like more like Russian, very, very macho culture. And not just, you know, that the culture is macho, but there's a dichotomy between the genders there. The men are very masculine and the women are very feminine. Yes, absolutely.
Fantastic, bro. So you would say, brother, it's a country and culture where the men run the country.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
I see. I see. Awesome, bro. So next question for you, brother, is in terms of lifestyle. So what is the lifestyle like in Mongolia, but particular capital city? I don't know how you say. Is it Ulaanbaatar? Is that the right way to pronounce it, bro?
I say Ulaanbaatar. I could be mispronouncing it slightly, but I believe it's Ulaanbaatar. Yeah.
Ulaanbaatar. So is it a chill lifestyle, or is it a very serious, intense, fast-paced lifestyle like New York City, LA? Break it down for us, bro.
From what I can recall, Ulaanbaatar itself is certainly the capital city, so you have a lot of the typical hustle and bustle that you would see in any capital city. However, the city itself is relatively small. The population of Mongolia, of course, is relatively small, so the hustle and bustle of even the capital city would not be anything compared to like a New York City. You see the typical street vendors, the typical buses and motorbikes going here and there. But overall, it's probably what we would in the states we would consider it like a mid-sized city. Um, but it's just a normal everyday way of life there, as far as I can see, for a
Awesome,
for a capital city. Yeah, yeah.
awesome, bro. So what about the cost of living there in that particular area in Mongolia, Ulaanbaatar? Is it expensive, brother? Is it cheap? Is it affordable or unaffordable? Tell us the prices there, brother, in terms of cost of living compared to America, bro.
It's definitely very cheap. I would put it on par with probably cost of living like in a Mexico. They have a currency there. It's 3,000 of their currency dollars to ours is Mongolian Turkic. So it's 3,000 roughly or so, 3,500 of their Turkic to a dollar. So put it in perspective, one meal might cost what we might call like $5 or like 15,000 Turkic. So, but that's going to be a pretty good sized meal at a sit down restaurant. So somewhere between five and $10 for you know a sit down meal at a nice restaurant is still very, very reasonable when it comes to American prices.
Awesome, awesome, bro. So
So, excuse me.
next question for you, brother, is in terms of um accommodation, brother. So where did you stay, brother? Were you in a hotel, Airbnb? And what were the prices there in terms of accommodation? Tour, brother.
So I stayed in the one of the nicer hotels called Blue Sky, and there's only a few hotels really that we consider upscale. Um, the Blue Sky was one of them, and the situation at the time that I was there is very the economy is very, I would say, we would say it would be a stagnant or almost like a depressed economy. Developing countries, so when it comes to hotels, there's not a lot, and that also ties into the history from the communist era. So having a variety of selection is not something that they would typically have had in those days, and even now, there's a lot of private enterprise now, but in terms of hotels, what we consider like a nice hotel is only like two or three. So I stayed in the Blue Sky Hotel. It's one of the nicer ones in Ulaanbaatar. But I also stayed in the countryside, and like we'd consider it like a countryside resort, but Mongolian style. So they have gurs. They call them gurs or yurts, and it's the same thing. You could see pictures of it online. They're like teepees. We'd call them like teepees, but it's Mongolian style, and it's the gur or the yurt that allowed the Mongols to actually be so swift in their military conquest, because you can break these houses down. Essentially, they're tents or teepees of a certain kind. You can break them down within 2 3 hours and set them back up again within 2 3 hours. So their entire setup in that rural kind of situation uh, allowed me to have a like an authentic Mongolian experience staying in a yurt or a gur.
Awesome, bro. How long did it cost you stay in the hotels? Was it expensive, brother? Was it cheap? Was it reasonable?
No, I think even in the Blue Sky Hotel, it was probably $50 a night, and that would be it'd probably be equivalent to staying at maybe like a JW Marriott or something like that. So for $50 or so a night, maybe less, $40 to $50 USD, you're staying in basically five-star accommodations for what they have there. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, bro. So the next question for you, brother, is in terms of transportation. So how did you move around in Ulaanbaatar? Was it by Uber? Was it train? Was it bus? And were they efficient? Were they cheap? How would a passport move around in that particular city and country?
All right. So the short answer is you jump in the back of people's car, and that's before they had Uber and Lyft, at least in Mongolia, before they had it there. So I look at it at Mongolia as maybe where the people got the idea for rideshare. What it is in Mongolia, based on their, I guess, their restrictions, the government's restrictions. If your license plate ends in an odd number, you can drive your car like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If it ends in an even number, you can drive your car Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So if you drive your car on the wrong day, you'll get a ticket. So most people just drive their car on the proper day. So how the people get around it is basically, if it's not their day to drive a car and they need to go somewhere, they just literally flag a vehicle that's on the road, jump in the back seat, and tell them where they want to go. And the driver's like, "Hey, it's just a regular person, no app involved." And they're like, "All right, give me $2 or you know, give me 5,000 Turgic. It's $1," and they take them. So that just gives you some insight into the way of life there. It's almost like the Wild West in a positive way. It's like the Wild West. Like the trust level among the Mongolian people is high. The bureaucracy and the red tape of a litigious, overly litigious society is very low, and they just try to be, I guess, effective and efficient with what they do and be good to each other, and that was pretty cool.
So you're telling me, brother, that you yourself moved around like that, bro?
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, it's crazy. It sounds crazy, but it's part of what to me gave Mongolia the flair of being there. I mean, just imagine you want to go to the mall or whatever. You raise your hand, and a family of three, like a mother, father, and a 3-year-old girl, is what's in the car. Is who's in the car with you. And the 3-year-old girl, like this what happened to me. The 3-year-old girl is just, she's surprised to see a black man in the car, and she's just smiling and just making faces and stuff at you. So that's absolutely how I moved around there, and it was is different, but it's definitely an adventure. I enjoyed it.
Interesting. Okay. Wow. That's crazy, bro. So next question for you, brother, is in terms of racism. So, brother, Mongolia is predominantly Asian country or white Asian country, brother. I'm guessing you were probably you only black person there for days, for hours. How were you treated there as a black man in Mongolia by the people? Were they surprised to see a black person, or were they shocked? Were they angry? Go on, bro.
Well, I would say there were black people there. Very few, of course, but students, like African students. So for them to see a black person wasn't, the first time in their life. most people saw a black person because there were definitely African students there. So that was the first part. The second part, I wasn't mistreated at all by the people whatsoever. I would walk, go anywhere I wanted to go, no harassment of any kind. Um, Maybe a few looks, like curious looks, some smirks, some smiles, in a positive way, but never anyone going out of their way to make me feel unwelcome in that sense. At least just not just on the street just for being there. Nothing like that. So I would say it was more of a curiosity slash interest on the part of the people, everyday people. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing, bro. Interesting. So you were accepted there. There were no troubles with your skin color. You were another human being there in Mongolia.
Correct, correct. I was another human being. I can't say I was fully accepted because I was there for a matter of weeks, maybe 4 weeks or so. So I can't say that someone, living there, a black man living there would be accepted per se, but I was certainly not made to feel unwelcome by any means. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Fantastic, bro. Fantastic. So, when you were there in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, did you see any investment opportunities? So, as passport bros, we want to obviously not only get the woman we want, but obviously have good income coming in, invest. Did you spot any investment opportunities there for passport bros to take advantage of at all, brother?
Well, I have to be honest, I wasn't looking for investment opportunities as such. However, the country itself is very much developing. So all over the place, there was shops, buildings that were in different phases of construction. Um, a lot of families, a lot of children everywhere. So all this ties into the possibility of investment through different means. So I think just from what I can say personally, what I saw, it seems to me that there would be a positive uh, population growth just from the sheer number of children and babies I saw everywhere. And then because of the country being, I guess, so in such a stage of development, I think there would be opportunity there. Although I can't say, what that might be or what would be the best industry. But from what I saw, there seemed to be a lot of development going on in general. Yeah.
Awesome, bro. So, next question for you, bro, is people. So, tell me how Mongolian people are like. Are they tough people? Are they kind people? Especially when you compare them to Americans, where you're from, brother. Tell me more about the personality of Mongolian people.
I would say Mongolian people initially are very hesitant to break the ice with outsiders, specifically Westerners or Americans. So that might come through, and you might see that manifest in such a way, like if you see the same people in your hotel, or the receptionist, he or she may not, smile at you like you're welcome, so much because the country has a very, very rigid history. Not talking about like the Genghis Khan and the Khan eras and all that, but even with Russia, I mean, the Soviet era was very, very harsh for the Mongolian people. The history there is pretty intense if you just look up some of the aspects. So for example, even to this day, they use the Cyrillic alphabet there. So because of I guess, the Cold War era kind of goings on, they're not quick to open up to outsiders. Yeah. But I would say once you gain their trust, which I was able to do after maybe a couple weeks, by I think a part of it was learning the language, some words in their language, like just introductory language words. It showed them that I had a degree of goodwill towards them, towards their culture, and made an effort to understand them, and that I think really opened them up to me. And once they were felt comfortable with me, the Mongolian people that I did interact with regularly, they were very, very, I guess, their humanity showed through, just like anywhere else. they're just people, you know. They want to be respected, they want to be understood,
Mm.
they want to be appreciated, and they showed that to me in spades.
No, that's a great point there, Joseph. Same as us as black men, but we want to be respected, understood, and be treated like human beings. And I
Exactly.
think everyone on planet Earth is deserving of that kind of respect, in my opinion. But obviously, due to racism, structural stuff, we've not been able to have that kind of respect over the past couple of years, Joseph. But may it change in the future, bro. Um, so next question for you, bro, is in terms of food. I want to know more about Mongolian food, brother. Is it tasty? Because as a passport bro, if I have an IT remote job, okay, and I want to work in Mongolia for a month, okay, is the food good? Is it tasty? If so, brother, what was your favorite cuisine there in Mongolia?
I would say Mongolian food is very hearty. As far as the tastiness of it, I guess it depends on the individual palate. But for me, the heartiness of the food was very different, and I can't say it was delicious. But then again, I like all food almost, so I can't say it was very bad either. For example, I'll give you an example. The winter in Mongolia is so harsh. They eat a lot of fat, like very fatty, like stews, and even just meat with just large pieces of fat on them. So for a Westerner, it's like a little bit different to see, you know, big chunks of fat in your stew. But in their culture, that fat is what gives you the energy you need through a really, really harsh winter. So their dishes are comprised of a lot of hearty, thick stews and a lot of goat. So you can, if you've ever had goat, you can remember or imagine the smell of the goat is still on the meat. That's one thing that surprised me.
Mm.
So you take a bite, you swallow it down, and then when you breathe out, you can smell and taste the very distinct scent and the flavor of the goat itself, like the almost like the hair. Not you're not eating hair, but you can smell that goat hair in the stew, in the meat, and that's a cultural. I guess that's a cultural dish that they have.
Interesting, bro. When you
It's
say
very interesting.
hardy, are you referring to it's very meat heavy, meaty hardy? Is that what you're saying?
A lot of meat, a lot of fat, and again, it goes back to the conquest tradition, the military tradition, and the winters, the very harsh, extreme winters as part of the culture as well. Yeah.
Amazing. So shout out to Mr. Bed Mike for the first super chat of tonight. Much appreciated for the support, bro. $10 super chat. Are they woke over there or more conservative? That's a question for you, bro.
What woke? What is that? They would not even understand what. They wouldn't even understand the term. Absolutely not. I can tell you a story. So Mongolia is like the Wild West. If and Mongolia is not for anyone, like say travelers who just want to have the typical bed and breakfast, experience at all. Mongolia is for people who want to have an adventure.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is, maybe I can just tell you an actual story that was told to me, an anecdotal story, but still. So here in the West, if you have any problems with the law, you're going to be processed. You'll be booked. You'll be processed, and You'll face charges. You'll go to trial, and that'll go from there. In Mongolia, one story I heard was there was like an army sergeant. One of his troops got I guess arrested for like a drunken night or something like that. So the army sergeant goes to the police station, gets in a fight with the police chiefs, knocks him out, takes the keys, opens the cell, and walks out with the guy. And that's in Mongolia, that's just like the I guess the other police officers would be like, hey, he won fair and square, so he just got him out of the cell and walked out. So that's the kind of place Mongolia is. It's like a very hardy place. It's very much like the Wild West, and in terms of conservative or woke, they would have no concept of what wokeism, any of those ideas even mean. Even if you explained it to them, they would just think you were out of your mind. Yeah.
That's a good thing, bro. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely.
So, next question for you, brother, is in terms of safety. So, when I go to a country, brother, I want to be safe. I want to walk around at nighttime. I want to approach women without any dude hating on me. I want to just be free, brother. Um, you as a brother, as a black man, were you safe in Mongolia, or would you say there's some spots that you want to avoid in Ulaanbaatar? If so, brother, name those spots, please. Break it down for us, please.
So safety. Okay, let me. It's very interesting. Everything about Mongolia is interesting and very. I think it would be very foreign to the mind of a Westerner, but I'll try to make it as relatable as I can. So when you talk about safety, you're not safe from a bar fight. You're not safe from a fist fight on the street at all. But you are safe from getting killed. So I guess you could weigh that in your own mind. Mongolian people are not. They don't really have a lot of killing. They don't really, carry weapons and knives or guns. But they're
Deletion.
very quick. Oh
Deletion.
yes,
Keep it
sorry,
peachy.
deletion.
Come, bro.
Absolutely. They're very, very, very quick to get into a like a fist fight. So if you're out at night, like I went to several bars, salsa club, uh, it's nothing for a Mongolian guy to step to you and want a fist fight. But either way, it's not going to go beyond a fist fight, which is like a very, very strange concept to, in for us as Westerners. If you're in a bar or in a club and someone wants to, or a train in one of the major cities, and someone comes to you, you don't know if they want to harm you in a more permanent way, or just get in a fight with you to show who just as a test of strength. In Mongolia, I've had it happen a couple times where a Mongolian guy just at a bar, kind of like in a movie, kind of slammed his beer next to me, just kind of slammed his beer down and kind of just looked over at me like he wanted to go right there for no reason. Another, yeah, 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 for sure. Another time, I was with a lady that I was seeing there, and she was, we were dating, and a guy came right up to her in line at the like McDonald's or whatever it was, and he kind of bumped her with his pelvis, kind of her against her backside, but with authority, not like a accident, kind of like letting her know that he was there and that he wanted to do that. And instantly, I just grabbed him and I kind of grabbed his shirt and kind of looked at him like he shook him and looked at him like he was crazy. And but he was drunk. It was already late at night. He was drunk, and in Mongolia, that flies over there. It's just like, okay, I bumped this girl in line because I wanted to. Like I got really close to her with my lower section, and that kind of thing is just normal over there. And a fist fight, as a result, would also be normal, to be honest with you. But in terms of any sort of deletion or anything like that, that's not their culture. That's not. They wouldn't prove a point that way. It wouldn't prove anything in their world, in their mind. It wouldn't prove anything to do that to another person. They want to show strength. They don't want to go that far. Yeah.
Wow. So are you telling me, bro, that as a passport, bro, you had to be ready to fight in Mongolia?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I told you, and I want to reiterate this to all the brothers listening to me. They take very seriously their descent from Genghis Khan and the Khans. You can go online and Google the giant statues they have of Genghis Khan and Kublai Khan. I mean, in their city square and different monuments, you will see the conquest of these Khans are still celebrated to this day there. So they very much are ready and willing to fight at the drop of a dime. And some might find that exciting. I don't know. It depends on you.
Not me, bruv. I'll keep it
No,
as that, bruv. Not me, bruv. I ain't looking to fight no one at this time in my life, bro. Um, so okay. So I think that there's two parts here, but overall, it's a safe country. You can walk around at night, brother. No one will harm you in terms of like any sort of physical harm towards you. However,
I
another
wouldn't.
part is that gone.
I wouldn't put it at safe at night like Korea. Korea, when you say safe at night, I think of like a Korea where you see children on the metro at night by themselves. Mongolia is not like that, but nobody's gonna. Very unlikely someone would try to delete you for no reason walking around Mongolia or Ulaanbaatar. Yeah.
But ready to fight. So got to know jiu-jitsu, got to know boxing just to protect yourself in case, bro. Is that your advice for passport bros?
Yes, and that, and if you can, have a buddy and just understand it's probably best to avoid it altogether if possible. Leave the area or just avoid the confrontation. But if it's not possible, then you might have a altercation with a Mongolian guy. He might buy you a beer afterwards. It's that kind of place.
Did you get in a fight, brother? Like actual, like proper, like punching, slapping?
I did not know. One of my colleagues did, and two of them did actually. And I can tell you, one of them said that they did. It was like a group of guys, and it was like in a bar. And one of them said that afterwards, they pretty much bought him beer, because they just wanted to test him. They saw that he was a foreigner, and they just wanted to see, I guess what he had. But
Flipping heck! So go on,
yeah,
go on.
I was gonna say, watch yourself though. If any of these brothers, under the sound of my voice, actually end up going, you definitely have to watch yourself. Um, Another one of my buddies got into a fight, but it wasn't anything like a fair fight. It was like an ambush.
What?
They, well, it was in a restroom, and it was over a girl. So the guy waited till he went to the bathroom, and then when he was in the bathroom, the guy hit him kind of from the blind side, kind of like a sucker punch. But that was it. So yeah, you got to watch yourself there. But that's their culture. Like I said, is a modern day, I guess you could say, descendant from the Mongolian worldview, the Genghis Khan worldview for sure.
Whoa. Okay. I mean, yo, brother. So basically, right. So in the daytime, when you're walking around doing your business, brother, do you have to worry about men attacking you or no? Is that only happening in the bar and nightlife scene?
I would say is bar and nightlife scene. Although, like I think one time during the day there was a couple of teenage young men, and I was going one way on the sidewalk and they were going the other, and they just didn't make an effort to move to one side. So they were kind of, I guess they just wanted to show that they were going to take up space on the sidewalk. So it was kind of like that. It was either I moved to the extreme right, or else we were going to bump shoulders, kind of thing. And maybe they were just teenagers being teenagers, but that's I saw it as, that's just culturally, it kind of comes with the territory when you're in Mongolia. Yeah.
Flipping heck. Wow.
Yeah.
Great first breakdown before going to the woman part in a second, brother. But I'm very happy you're being honest, brother. Keep being honest, brother. This is why this is the best passport channel on the YouTube. We don't lie. We don't sugarcoat things. We tell the truth and nothing but the truth. Shout out to Mr. Yu-Gi-Oh Master for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Legendary at live stream IP. I've been wanting to hear Mongolia for a while. Definitely checking it out. Thank you, bro, for the kind words. Much appreciated, bro. Much appreciated. So we probably have to go back to that fighting part there later on, bro, because that's very important. But now I want to move into the woman part, brother. Okay. And on that note, Joseph, right, I want to ask you, brother, a very important question. Okay. This question, brother, is probably the most important question in the history of mankind, bro. Okay. This kind of question, Joseph, can stop world wars. This kind of question, brother, can turn water into wine. This kind of question, brother, can make mankind walk on water like Christ did in the Bible, brother.
Amen.
This kind of this, this kind of question, brother, can split a sea in two and allow one population to travel from one end to another to the other part of the land, brother, like in the Bible. All right. This question is, brother, okay, are the women in Mongolia checking heavy for brothers and passport bros?
I would say 50-50. 50-50. Uh, I will elaborate. So when I was there, I met a girl there, but she was not Mongolian. So she and I dated while I was there, but she was actually Catalonian. She was a Spaniard from
Mm,
the sub-region of
that's long.
Catalonia.
Mm.
Exactly. So we spent all our time, free time that I had, dating, going out, doing things. So I was not with a Mongolian woman there. Um, but I can tell you, I did get some friendly looks in public, far more than I have here in the West. Far more. I can tell you that for sure. On a daily basis. Yes. I cannot say they were checking heavy, but the reception that I have there was much more positive than I have here on any given day.
Interesting, brother. So from your eyes only, brother, right? You mentioned that there are Africans there in Mongolia. Did you see Africans with Mongolian women in Mongolia?
I did not. Maybe it was because I did not see too many African people out and about during the day. The African people that I saw there was at a salsa place, and I did not see people who were obviously coupled up there. Everyone was just dancing, having a good time. So I can't say I saw brothers winning out there, but it may just because there's not a lot of us out there in general. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So, but going off the vibes that you felt and you saw, women was friendly towards you, smiling at you, interested in you, but you didn't actually pull the trigger. Is that what you're saying, bro?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. The times where I saw interest, I would say indicators of interest out and about, it was a friendly smile, or let's say a smirk or a friendly look in my direction, but it was nothing overt. I think Mongolian women are a lot like they're very demure in that way. So a Mongolian woman would not culturally would not approach the man, and also she would not make it blatantly obvious, in a social setting that she's interested. So I think a glance or a smirk or a smile would probably be about the only thing that a Mongolian woman would really would really show in public. But like I said, I had a girl while I was there. She was not Mongolian, so I didn't get the full recon on that one.
Can I ask, brother, why you were with a Spanish woman in Mongolia?
Of course, bro. So I was out with some mates at night, just enjoying the nightlife. And there are foreigners in Mongolia traveling, and she was one of them. She was out. She was a backpacker, and I was out with my friends, and she was out with hers. And I think it was just at a nightclub, and she actually one of my friends approached her, but and he was white, neither here nor there, but she preferred a brother, I guess, in this, and it started out very, very, very slow, just conversation, exchange information, some text back and forth, but eventually she made it clear that she was choosing me, and we just continued our relationship, and we've actually been very good friends over the years. So it was a positive thing. I would say it was a really positive thing. So maybe Catalonia will be another live stream one day. Who knows?
Interesting, brother. How did she make it clear she was checking for you?
Well, because our friend groups connected uh, at some point in the evening, we were all just in the general like table or the same area. So she just came up to me and started talking, but everybody was talking to everybody, so it was nothing unusual. And she just struck up conversation with me. I think I was just in kind of thought on my own, kind of just thinking. We're just quietly just enjoying the vibe, and then she just came up to me, we started talking, and I think we just exchanged information from there, and just went out later that week, and yeah, kept it going. It was all very
Interesting.
natural. Yeah, it was very natural. I would say nothing like the modern day situation in the West. Our interaction was very natural, very easy.
Interesting, brother. Shout out to Mr. Ayisa A for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, bro, for the support. Hey, y'all. Shout out to the stream. I'm very into Mongolia. I'm not scared. Should work on speaking native language or Russian. So he said, should you work on speaking the native Mongolian language or Russian, brother? And would you visit there again?
Uh, well, yes, I would visit there again, although it is definitely a hike to get to. I think if you connect through Seoul, uh, or Thailand, actually, Thailand, you can get a flight straight from Bangkok to Ulaanbaatar, I believe. So if I was in the East Asia region, I would definitely visit again. For the language bit, the level of English there is not good at all. So if you are not interacting with a company or a school or someone who has, an entity that has staff that can liaise for you and speak English and then translate, or speak Mongolian and translate, it'd be very difficult to interact just on a day to day unless you invest the time to learn Mongolian. But I would say Russian, I I never attempted it, but I would say because of the Cyrillic alphabet, I assume that there are some people who could understand Russian. But again, it it's not like Ukraine or Belarus where the language is slightly different, but a lot of overlap. Mongolian is its own language, just uses Cyrillic alphabet. Um, so I would say to learn Mongolian would have to be a must if you're going to spend any length of time there. If you're gonna visit and adventure and travel and enjoy the beauty of Mongolia, the rolling hills, the blue sky, the history of the Mongolian culture, and just spend 3 weeks, a month, you probably could just get by with the basic phrases and then get some tour guide or just get connected with where the locals go because there's a lot of backpackers that go through there actually. So Irish pub is always a great place. You can meet locals. It seems like every major city in the world has an Irish pub. That's like something the Irish export. So if you go to the Irish pub, you'll find English speakers. You go to a salsa club, you'll find people who speak English. Um, just probably different things where young people like to do. Go to a sports bar where they're watching basketball, NBA. You'll find English speakers there, young people, and they'll probably be curious to talk to you as well and get to know more about you. So yeah, I would say take the time to learn some basic phrases, just to break the ice and build rapport. But beyond that, probably travel in circles where there's some English speakers. Get a local tour guide just from Google, and then you could probably get the most out of the experience that way. That's my recommendation.
Awesome, bro. So more on Mongolian women, brother, in terms of looks, right?
Yeah,
Are these women beautiful, Mongolian women, or are they average or ugly?
I would. To me, they're very beautiful, and my standard of beauty is long hair, like down past the waist. Uh, yeah, I mean that's why I like paisas, in Medellin. Although that's another story about the situation down there right now. But like the paisa look, fair skin, dark hair, long, demure attitude, demure vibes. So to me, the Mongolian women check all those boxes for sure. They're very, very, as far as the look, they're very feminine. They're very curvaceous. They take more towards I would say like the Russian influence than like you would think of like maybe like Chinese or East Asian. Their mannerisms are more like Slavic or Russian than they are like a like a East Asian. So in that sense, they're very different as well.
Amazing, brother. So
Yeah.
beautiful. They haven't looked at, is it a look that's similar to Japanese, Korean, or they're unique in their own look? Is it like a half white, half Asian look, or
They're
is
very unique, and it
mm,
would be hard to really, if you Google right now, you'll see like a lot of National Geographic looking images with the traditional clothing and stuff. And then you'll see a lot of pictures where like the people who live in the rural areas that still use the gers and do the farming, they'll have like a lot of wind chapped cheeks and stuff like that, which is a part of the lifestyle for the people who live in the countryside too. and they are beautiful in their own way. But I mean, the real fact of the matter is for me is that Mongolian women are very, very attractive, especially when you go out at night in the nightlife. They are not looking like dated as far as fashion or anything like that. Yes, Mongolia is a little bit out of the way in terms of geography, but their fashion is on point, their hair, their skin is on point, their mannerisms. You're not going to see a Mongolian woman making a scene in public, doing anything, to make herself or the people she's with look bad. It's just a very, very wholesome, very traditional, very conservative situation. It does have some economic issues, and it is developing, and I don't wanna gloss over that. But for a brother who's looking for adventure, uh, very, very rustic and less touristy experience with a lot of good women there that could definitely make a good partner and a wife to build with, you can find that in Mongolia. But it comes with a lot of challenges as well. So I was only there for like a month, but it's there in Mongolia for sure.
Wow, brother, you probably know me by now that I love me a slim, thick chick, right?
Yeah,
Curvy,
yeah.
skinny thighs, a bit of behind, but not too big like a female rapper, nice proportionate body, nice chest, right? What are they packing out there, keeping it PG in Mongolia, the woman, brother? What are they packing, body wise?
I would say they don't show a lot of skin out in public, to be honest with you. So from what I would say, what I saw, it was, I would say, slender, more slender, and then you did have some curvy women. No, almost no obesity, but in terms of the body type, they definitely had a more curvy figure than, let's say, your average. And I can only speak to what I saw. So I'm half Korean, and I spent a year in Korea. There now, I'd say in 2023, you have a lot of Korean women who are into gym culture and sports and everything like that. So there's a lot of Korean women who are plenty curvy, but as far as on the whole, Korean women are kind of on the slender, kind of like the Michelle Wei golfer type of archetype. Mongolian women are a little bit more curvy than that. They're a little bit more curvy than that, but you wouldn't see it out in public because they're going to be covered up.
Awesome. Fantastic. Fantastic, bro. So tell me more about the personality. Actually, before I go on to that, right? Feminism, right? When you were out there, brother, was feminism a problem there in Mongolia, brother, amongst the women or the culture?
Not at all. Not at all. I would say some of the aspects of feminism I think may at this point be ubiquitous. So, for example, pants, women wearing pants, that's no longer, in most people's minds, it's no longer a statement of anything. It's just everyday dress. So if that's something, if in that question that is a factor of feminism, you will see that out there. Yes, you'll see women wearing pants. You'll see women working. But in terms of behavior, you will not see very many single mothers. And the reason I know that is because there's no that I know of. There is no like safety net out there. And the reason why I say that is because I saw some very, very heartbreaking scenes of poverty out there. And so, like for example, and this is just one of the gauges that I use when I travel, as far as the level of economic security. If you can see children on the street, like working or begging, then that tells you, for at least in my mind, that there's a lot of serious economic issues. But it also tells you, at least in my mind, that there's not the safety net where people are going to just forego responsibility for their situation. It's not. I'm not saying it's a good thing at all. I love kids, and I never like to see them in any pain. But in
Mm.
Mongolia, in Ulaanbaatar, you can see children, out on the street, not not hundreds or dozens, but I can remember I saw outside of the main mall, the one of the biggest malls there. There was like it's like a kid. He was always on the street, and he was doing the throat singing, the Mongolian throat singing, and he was getting money that way. So feminism, I can tell you, it's it cannot thrive in a situation like Mongolia, where there's not a massive government safety net for people. So the check and balance, I think, of just nature itself is still there. So you're not going to see a lot of single mothers. You're not going to see a lot of uh, I would say reckless behavior on the part of the ladies in terms of like divorce for no reason, divorce as like an economic like a scam to get a retirement situation going. Those concepts are foreign concepts. It just it's not part of their worldview whatsoever. It would be completely foreign to them.
Awesome, bro. So, brother, tell me more about the personality of the average Mongolian woman. So, at this point in my life, brother, I don't want no stress, brother. I want peace. I don't want my chick just like a 304. I want her covered. I want her to be, supportive, cooperative, loyal, be on my team, be on my plan. Is that how the average Mongolian woman is, brother? Break it down for me, please.
I would say yes, and the reason why is because the family structure is so intact there that it is. I would say this: when I traveled to Mongolia, it was with a layover in Seoul and then I believe Thailand. So that allowed me to experience the contrast in such a striking way in terms of the number of children and families that I saw on the street. As I think most of us who watch this channel and probably channels like this know, most developed countries right now are experiencing a tremendous population crash. You can't even call it a slowdown at this point. It's essentially like a crash. Not enough children are being born to outpace the number of people who are dying. Japan is in the same boat. So my layover in Seoul, which would have in another situation, it would have just been a layover in Seoul. But to go from Seoul, where there's millions of people and you can see people everywhere, every direction you look on any day of the week, and on the street, to go from that and then to go on to Ulaanbaatar, where almost in the same way you can see babies and children and baby carriages everywhere. And that I think that was probably the first time, maybe the first time in my life, or one of the first times in my life that I ever really got to see what humanity would do or what it would be like if there was no birth control culture. I'm not saying it's not available there. I'm saying the practice of it doesn't seem like it's very um, accepted there. So, as adults, we can all understand, procreation is a natural function of being a human being. And in Ulaanbaatar, everywhere you look, every direction, there's little kids running, playing, laughing, babies and baby carriages, and always couples. I mean, men, women, and then children. It's such a very intact, structured society, family structure in that country, in that city for sure.
That's amazing, brother. That's amazing. Now, in terms of religion, brother, that's also important for me. I'm sure important for you and men who believe in the Most High. Are the women? So, two questions here, brother. Is Mongolia a religious country? And number two, are Mongolian women on average religious or are they secular? Break it down for us, bro, from what you saw.
Uh, it's certainly not a Christian country, I can tell you that. Seoul would be churches everywhere, kind of, as a very popular cultural norm. Mongolia, you see a lot of, well, let me say this. Historically, they had like a purge of Buddhists, like in the 1920s and like late 1800s, where some of the Soviet, I don't even know what they would have called themselves, but we would say now Russian. Some of their military, I would say, czars or generals or what have you, swept through Mongolia and literally killed and sorry, deleted lots of the religious leaders in that country, and even the practitioners, so that it was very much taken a step back in terms of whatever traditional religion they were practicing in that time frame. So even to the current day, it's not a very religious country at all. Certainly wouldn't be, the Abrahamic faiths would not be very prevalent there at all. And if anything, you would see Buddhist, temples, but very few and far between. Um, I'm sure there are people who practice, different faiths there, but it's not a place where you would see uh, parishioners going to their different worship services en masse. Like you would see you know, in Italy or something like that, where people are going in droves on a certain day. It's not like that at all. They're very, I would say, more secular in that regard, but secular with strong family values from what I saw. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing, bruv. This is incredible. Um, so so when it comes to communication, brother, that's very important. You know, so let's say there's a passport bro on my channel. He's got a plan for Mongolia, and obviously you can't be a successful woman if you can't communicate in a language. Would you say that that passport bro must learn Russian because English isn't enough, or just how do we communicate out there, brother? And what's the best way to communicate, in your opinion?
I would say from my experience, you have to find someone who speaks English, which wouldn't be that difficult if you're talking about a younger, a younger, professional or younger college age woman, or if you have a friend group that's connected to like a school, a university, like an English school or a university or a company, then you would have there, I think, built in people that could speak English, and maybe that could be the pool of women that you select from. But a Mongolian is a very difficult language to learn. I can tell you that just from hearing it. It's if you there's a rock band, a Mongolian rock band that's pretty popular worldwide now called the Hu. So not like the British band, the Who WHO, but the Hu, and they do Mongolian throat singing and kind of like it's kind of metal. It's a metal band, but with Mongolian throat singing. Sounds pretty cool. It's got a very very uh, macho kind of metal sound. So the language itself it doesn't sound like any other language that I've ever heard. It's very very difficult. I think it would be very difficult to learn Mongolian, but it might be worth it. There be very few people, very few Westerners, who are there long term to compete with in that regard.
Interesting, brother. Did you see other races of women out there in Mongolia, Japanese, South Korean, and were they checking for brothers, or did you see like African chicks there? Break it down for us, bro.
I saw the Spaniard and her friends. So there's backpackers there. That's the thing. It's probably one of those backpacking destinations for real adventure, like real backpackers that or extreme backpackers, if you want to call them that. So they want to people who would like to go to more rustic environments. So I did see foreign backpackers there. I did see African students or just residents there at the salsa setting and the nightclub setting. And interestingly enough, I met one girl. She was Blasian, but she was Blasian from
Ooh,
I think African father and Mongolian mother.
ooh,
So yeah, she was very good looking. She's very attractive.
ooh.
Yeah, and yeah, and we danced salsa. It was very, is Mongolian for all the rustic parts. Ulaanbaatar does have a lot of modern conveniences. I mean, they love NBA basketball. They had a very vibrant salsa community there, and I mean, I would say it's a very, very up and coming major city.
Wow. Did you get a number, brother? Is there a plan for that Blasian? What's going on, bruv?
I didn't get a number. I was giving my best effort to the Catalonian girl that I was dating. but I enjoyed the experience. It was an amazing and very unexpected experience. I think she was half Mongolian, half Ghanaian. So yeah,
Wow.
you
Wow. Um, so let me ask this now, bro. In terms of black culture, when you were out there, was that a big thing? Obviously, we know black culture is quite big now in Japan and South Korea. Was that also a case in Mongolia, black culture?
no, not at all.
Okay.
The
So,
only yeah, the only thing that they would consider, I guess, popular in terms of black culture would be NBA basketball. NBA basketball, you had some basketball fans there at sports bars. You could go watch a game if you're there. You can watch a game live, and you'll see sports fans there. But ultimately, it's not a place where, like a Japan or like even like Korea, where they put their own spin on Black American pop, pop music or
mm,
R&B, which I think, Korean R&B and pop artists are very, very talented, and Japanese too. But in Mongolia, you don't have any version of that at all. You don't have Mongolian that I know of. You don't have Mongolian like hip hop culture or like rap. They probably do have some Mongolian rap groups, but it's not like mainstream like you would see in Korea, BTS or any of the ethnic spin-offs of what we call Black American music. You wouldn't find that in Mongolia. It wouldn't be prevalent. I'll say that.
mm. Yes, indeed. I think South Koreans got to show brothers love a lot more. In terms of they definitely like black culture, but I feel like they could do more to show brothers love. Because they use a lot of black culture in their music. In their culture currently, K-pop is very big, and when I hear this K-pop songs, bro, I'm like, is that an R&B song from the 1990s? Who's singing this? That's how familiar it is. So show us some more love, K-pop people. Japanese people do it, and wait for my live stream coming in the coming weeks. But South Korea can do a lot more to show brothers a lot more love. Would you agree on that? Side question there, Joseph.
I would agree. I was there for a year, and while I was there, again, I had a girlfriend. She was not Korean, so I wasn't checking, to see if they were checking. But at the same time, I could see they were checking. So I don't know if it was because I'm half Korean, or excuse me, if it was because they were checking for brothers. But I know what you mean. It's definitely a lot more that they could do in that regard. But I will say that if you can learn Korean, you got it made. You have got it made as a brother if you can learn Korean. And what I mean is, from what I understand, the the fact is they have so many foreigners on TV just because they speak Korean. So if you can learn Korean fluently, and that's a place you're interested in spending some time, if you can learn to speak Korean, I'm not saying they're going to put you on TV, but it's like a trend almost. Like as soon as they get some foreigners that speak fluent Korean, they become at least YouTube famous or Instagram famous, if not actual celebrities. So I would say that could be a very, very good piece of intel for some. There's got to be one brother out there who's like, you know what, I'm gonna learn Korean and I'm gonna move there. So if that can help, I hope it helps.
Awesome, bro. So now I'm going to ask this question, brother. So you've mentioned that these Mongolian dudes can get ready to fight you for some odd reason.
Yeah.
So now, uh, uh, picture this situation right now. Okay, you have a beautiful Mongolian woman. You're walking around with her. You're in a bar with her, or you're holding hands with her. Do Mongolian dudes feel some type of way when they see a foreign brother, a Western brother with a beautiful Mongolian woman, and want to fight you for taking a woman?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. And I think you said on a previous stream, if that's not the case, then you messed up anyway. Because if the lo if the local men aren't mad that you got one of their baddies, then you already messed up. And I think that was a great point. I think it was a great point. If you are a up and coming, upperly mobile, passport brother, and you're going to another country and you're getting, the ladies there that are not the top tier, it's just like Theo was saying, just like IP was saying, I don't know what you're doing, because the level of I guess you could say leverage that we have as successful, entrepreneurial, hardworking uh, black men who are able to travel. You guys should not be settling for ladies in other countries that even the local men don't really check for. That's my opinion. So yeah, but yes, Mongolian men will mean mug you. Like I said, I didn't even have a Mongolian girl. I had a Spaniard, a foreign girl, and they were giving me a hard time. So that's just the way it is there. I guess it's just the way it is. But
Can you elaborate the hard time they gave you with your Spanish girlfriend in Mongolia, brother? Give us some examples.
I would say it was one instance that I can speak to in particular. Like I said, in line for that food or a restaurant or whatever it was. It was outdoors. It was late at night. We had just come from a night at one of the clubs there. So we're just getting some food, a little bit hungry, and these Mongolian guys are in line as well. And this guy just, he just comes up to her and gives her, I guess, gets too close for comfort behind her, and then just actually, goes ahead and bumps into her with his pelvis. And if he didn't realize that we were together initially, but then once I grabbed him by his shirt, he realized we were together. But even then, it wasn't like he just backed off. It was like he's like almost like a hey, why are you grabbing me? Because almost like it's just the way it's very, I guess you could say, I don't know, Mexican slang they would say it's machista. It's like a machista culture. So guys there, they would feel very entitled to say, comments on the street. If you, in my mind, I guess, if you had a Mongolian baddie, they would probably say something to you on the street. Definitely going to give you bad looks, and I think that's where it may behoove you if you're there for any length of time to get some friends and go out with Mongolian people as well, and have your crew as well. But it's that's the culture there, so you got to respect the culture. I wouldn't say get into a altercation. If anything, avoid it, but just be ready if you do go. Not like not like you're gonna get off the plane and that people are gonna jump on you. I'm not gonna trying to make you paranoid. I just want to be real with you, brothers. I just want to be real with you, brothers. They're not gonna look favorably, but they're also not gonna try to do anything, long term. They might just want to see if you're gonna say anything. I don't know.
So, brother, it's one thing, right, for a dude to, feel some type of way because you're with a woman there is that's beautiful. That's cool. I want that. I mean, I'm with a dime. But to actually fight someone that because he's got your one of your race of women, that's where I'm like, oh, okay, that's too much for me there. Is that a possibility, brother? He might run up on you. Hey, what's happening here? And start fighting you. Is that a possibility, brother, in Mongolia?
I would say not out of nowhere in broad daylight, but certainly in a night, in a social setting to try to pick a fight. Yeah, that's a possibility. Yes, absolutely. If you're in a sports bar watching the game, if you're in a salsa place and you've got someone's, ex or something like that, to pick a fight is a strong possibility. But for someone in broad daylight to just, no, not at all. At most, like in broad daylight, maybe just a dirty look, something, a comment under their breath in passing, certainly. But I would say actual, fisticuffs to pick a fight is probably something that you would probably worry about maybe like at night if you're doing the nightlife thing.
Flipping heck, bruv. Okay. Better learn that jujitsu, better learn that boxing, better learn that taekwondo, better learn that Muay Thai if you want to be survive there in Mongolia.
Yeah. And like I said, I think they probably just buy you a beer after the dust settle. I mean, it's just uh it's just to be expected, I guess. Which to me is almost it takes me in my mind it takes me back to earlier times in Western societies where let's say you were had a football hooligan or whatever, and they just wanted to, like the SNL skit, they just wanted to headbutt each other or whatever, you know. that'd probably be about the end of it. I'm talking like 80s, but in the day today's day in the West, I mean, I can tell you stories. The people here, a lot of times, deletion is always an option here, and it's not. That's not a good thing.
Mm,
Not a good thing.
I agree. But in Mongolia, right, they're quite strong there, isn't it? The men, they're quite big, quite tall on average.
Absolutely. That's a great
Mm,
point. That's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up too. So, for those who don't know, Mongolian sumo wrestling is hugely popular, and I would say, the majority of the sumo wrestling champions have been Mongolian throughout the annals of the modern sumo wrestling, competitive leagues. The champion sumo wrestlers, I believe, are Mongolian. Very, sumo wrestlers, of course, are going to be big, but I mean, in general, Mongolian people are big. They're Asian, but they're not small people at all. The guys, I would say, probably on average 5'11" and up. I'm not saying they're walking around like, like in the Netherlands where all the guys and a lot of the girls are over 6 foot. But I would say 5'11" is the average height, and you do see plenty of Mongolian guys that are over 6 foot. And as far as body type, they're fairly wide. Um, they would be very good. I would say rugby or footballers if that ever became popular there. It's not like, if you go to the Philippines or Korea where the people are in general are small. Mongolian people and the men in general are not small people. So that's a great point and great question there.
what about the women? Are they tall on average, bro?
They didn't strike me as especially tall. I would say maybe for women you know, they'd probably be the same height as a Western average. So I'm guessing like 5'7", 5'8", if that's in the ballpark of average height in the West. I would say it's probably the same in Mongolia.
That's good.
Yeah.
I can work with that, bro. Too tall. I don't do that, bruv. Nah, man. So next question for you, brother, is in terms of femininity and submissiveness, brother, right? So for me, brother, right, I want peak submissiveness from a woman, right? I want a chick, right, where I'm working my IT job, long day at work. I come home, okay? My wife takes my coat off me, and I give her a kiss and I ask her, hey, babe, today at work is very tough and very busy. Can you please come with me upstairs in the bathroom and can you bathe? Can you bathe me in the bathtub from head to toe? And after you bathe me, baby, can you moisturize me from head to toe, brother? Can I get that submissiveness and love from a Mongolian chick, bro?
I can't. I cannot answer that question, IP. I cannot answer that question because I do not have sufficient knowledge to answer that question accurately.
Hmm.
But I will say this. I will say this. For those who live in the Mongolian rural, have the rural lifestyle, uh, they are very, very submissive. And the reason why I know that is because I went to a Mongolian resort to experience like the rustic Mongolian culture. And when I say resort, I'm talking like glamping, you could say something like that. So it wasn't like high scale, resort. It was like glamping. So they had the gers, they had the whole setup, and the people that worked there were just everyday Mongolian people, not like uniformed corporate hotel, franchise employees, just everyday Mongolian people. So every single day they had a Mongolian ladies. They would cook these extravagant Mongolian spreads with all their different styles of food and soup, and just a really beautiful experience. And then every day as well, they had some of the Mongolian ladies go through and of course, clean and straighten up the living space. And I can tell you that just from the demeanor that I witnessed from the ladies that were working there, they were very submissive, very demure. They were not at all like you might see like burned out, hate their situation, hate their job type of vibe. They were very demure, very happy to be serving you, very happy to be cleaning, very happy to be just just living life, So from that, I can say the question you asked me, I imagine the answer would be yes if you were fulfilling all of the duties as a man. I think that the question you asked me would be a yes. That,
Interesting.
yeah.
Follow up question there, brother. Right. What do you define as someone, as a man, fulfilling his duties, brother, in your opinion?
So that to me means so for in my case, I would say I've always wanted a woman who's not working outside of the home.
Mm,
And so in order for that to be possible, I would have to be paying for all of the expenses that go just, day-to-day life, not only just for survival, but even luxury expenses as well, whatever that may be, trips, maybe some luxury items, whatever discretionary income. So I think if a man truly wants a wife who does not work outside of the home, but actually spends her time and energy supporting what he has going on and raising the children, if there are any, and just making the home and house into a home. In my mind, the man as well has to be taking care of all the expenses, no matter what they may be. So, if a man is doing that, I think a Mongolian, just from what I saw, the Mongolian women, their demeanor, I think, in answer to your question, I think it would be a go. I think it would be a yes.
okay. So, brother, finding a submissive and feminine woman is possible all over Mongolia, including the capital city, Ulaanbaatar.
I think it would be more difficult in Ulaanbaatar than the rural environment. Mind you, the rural environment would not be, it would not really be easy to break into that social network in the first place because it is so. I would say you have the smaller outlying kind of towns or the area outside the outskirts of Ulaanbaatar, but then you have the rural people who live in Gurs, and they're not. I mean, you would really have no reason to be out there for a long time. Like if you want to go to a resort and take a tour and stay for 3 4 days, but to have that lifestyle, I'm talking about like they've got 3 yaks and 2 horses and a gur, and the man spends his time milking, the goats and the yaks, and then going to hunt something for dinner. It'd be hard to really set oneself up like that. Although there may be somebody out there who wants to do it. But Ulaanbaatar, you could get yourself set up long term, and I think in that case, whether it be like a school teaching English or something like that, you could find a woman who's willing to be on your game plan. But I will tell you that's been my biggest challenge so far, and I haven't been able to find the answer to that question for me personally. I found a lot of very good women, and dated a lot of very good ladies all over the world. But sometimes it was the fact that I wasn't there long term,
Mm,
and other times it was the fact that despite their good qualities and despite their good intentions, most of the women that I've interacted with still held to some of the basic tenets like of feminism, of like working outside the home, pursuing career or prioritizing career over giving birth to kids. So to the point, I've had ladies tell me as much. They said, hey, I like you, you like me. I think we could build a future, but I have invested this much time, this much energy into my studies, and I want to pursue my career in the corporate world, in the medical field. So even though they were feminine in their presentation and their behavior, even though they were interested in me and they were checking for brothers, and other women in those cities were checking for brothers, um, most of them, if not all of them, were very much, in tune with prioritizing career over family, and prioritize. And I wouldn't even say career, just like some other YouTubers said, a lot of people in general, but a lot of women in the West in general don't really have careers. They just have a series of jobs.
mm.
So yeah, in my mind, that's the big challenge, especially for us as passport bros. And I'm not even a passport bro, to be honest with you. I'm not a passport bro. I, I'm a passport pharaoh. I was, and I will say, Uh, I've seen a lot of good ladies in my life, and I'm very thankful for all of them. But that's been the biggest challenge is to get them to let go of prioritizing their own desires
Mm.
outside of over and above the family and outside of the home. So that question you asked me, I cannot answer definitively if Ulaanbaatar is the place, but I will say no matter where a man may go, that's probably the biggest challenge that you're gonna face.
Awesome, bro. So I got a couple more questions. Give it 10 more minutes after open up the phone lines. Give half an hour of brothers to call in and speak about the experience in Mongolia or ask you questions, bro. Shout out to Mr. Johnny Walker in the building for the $5 super chat, showing support for the movement. Thank you for the support, Johnny. Much appreciated, bro. Many thanks to the guests coming on to share his experience. Mongolia is a first. Yes, indeed. It definitely is a first. Thank you, bro. Awesome. So, next question for you, bro. The next question is, hmm. So, did you do online dating over there in Mongolia? And what was your success rate? And what apps did you use, brother? If you did use it.
I did not, and that probably would be the one thing that I would change the next time I have the chance to go back. Excuse me. I did not use any online dating apps. I was focused on work to the greater extent. So even though I did find a nice girl and we did go out and we had a great time dating, I did not use any of the apps. And I think that if you did use the apps, especially if you had a trip planned, it would be a good idea for sure. I can't tell you which ones, but it could never be it would never be a bad thing to just make connections with more, people, more ladies, and just to see if there was anything there. So that's a great question, and I have to make a note of that for myself next time I have a chance to go.
Awesome. Thank you. Arigato gozaimasu. Shout out to Mr. M6205 for the $199 super chat. This guest is cool. Hope to see him more. Yes, indeed. He's in the suit. He's well spoken. He's not a pookie. We want more brothers to represent the movement like this. So that's a compliment to you there, Joseph. Thanks for the kind words, M06. And Joseph, we are going to get you on the channel more. Obviously, we'll work around your time, bro. I know you're a busy man. So I'm going to ask you a question, brother, right? And it's regards to body count. So me, brother, I want a virgin first and foremost swipe up. Okay. Virgin, or at the very least a low body count chick, but preferably a virgin, brother. Can passport bros find virgin women in Mongolia and low body count chicks from what you saw, from what you heard, and from what you observed, brother, in your opinion?
My opinion is yes, and the main reason is because of a term that we don't really have a lot of here in the West, which is accountability. So imagine what I mentioned, all of the guys, how they're just quick to challenge another man on the street, not like in broad daylight, like want to fist fight, but just the amount of protective masculine energy that the men in Mongolia have. Now imagine a woman has two brothers and she just says something like, "I'm going out." Doesn't say anything about where or with who, or just wants to wear anything, any old thing. The idea of that is just, from what I saw there, I was there about a month, maybe a little more. Isn't that something that is normal in their society? The idea of it would be, it just wouldn't happen. It wouldn't even be something that you could even imagine happening in their society. You know, just going out at night with, with no accountability at all. Just, yeah. So,
Fantastic. Fantastic, bro. So from what you observed there, bro, I know you were a Spanish chick, but where would you say are the best places to meet respectable wifey woman in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia? Was it the library? Was it the park? Give us some idea, bro, if you can.
uh, my experience there was, I guess, during the day I was pretty much preoccupied with work. So my ability to go out was on the weekend. And on the weekend, I would just try to go out either with my lady friend or to the mall or to the movies or to a restaurant. So all the typical places that we would normally go Anyway, in the West, I would say it would be, generally speaking, a place where one could, meet a Mongolian girl. However, I would say it would be a lot more difficult um, in Mongolia than other countries, even other countries that don't use English primarily, simply because the cultural and language barrier would almost preclude cold approach. I mean, in Latin America, let's say Colombia, you can use your Google Translator and you can cold approach even with just Google Translate and some basic words in Spanish. In Mongolia, they're not for someone to come up and cold approach a Mongolian girl, out of nowhere, it would be like bizarre for them, I think.
Hmm.
So that's where I think, really the apps would be your best bet. And since you asked me specifically about, more, respectable ladies, I think apps, like for example, I think apps themselves are not necessarily a bad thing, but I think the way that they're used can vary from place to place. So, for example, Tinder in the US right now probably wouldn't be a great place to meet respectable ladies, although I guess it could happen. But for example, in Medellin, if you go on Tinder, you're almost guaranteed not to meet a respectable lady, not because the people on there are not respectable, but because the connotation of the app itself, you may have a lady who's otherwise respectable, but just because her profile is on Tinder, she may not be conducting herself that way at that time. However, if you're doing it in Mongolia, the app could have a totally different connotation. And that's where I say, if it was me and I was going back in the near future, I would get on whatever app is popular there. And that way, at least I can meet a girl uh, let's say, who probably can communicate somewhat using English, number one. And number two, uh, we can communicate beforehand to see whether or not there's any possibility that she or I have the same intentions, so that you might even just ask, um, what are you looking for? And if she answers you back something akin to, hey, I'd like to get to know someone long term, then you might actually meet someone respectable that way. But cold approach, I think in Mongolia, it would be almost impossible unless you were cold approach. I would even call it warm approach, where you're with your friends and you see some people, whether they be backpackers or local girls, and they're out with their friends, like salsa dance. That's one reason I like salsa dancing. It goes from cold approach to warm approach almost automatically, just because you're all out doing the same thing, enjoying the culture, enjoying the music of salsa. So I would say if you're into salsa, if you're into anything like that, where it's almost like a built-in subculture, go that route, or dating apps.
Can I ask you, bro, right? From what you observed there, from what you've heard from the men there or the women there, what kind of man, on average, is the average Mongolian woman looking for? What does she desire? In terms of what does she want of a man for her to take seriously and date? From what you heard and saw.
First of all, I would say a family man. Just because the sheer number of families. I mean, I think it would be hard for us in the West to even imagine it because we don't have that experience. Maybe some of the brothers listening now may be like in the Caribbean or different places, but for me as an American to go to a place where there's just families everywhere, uh, I'd have to be in a specific place. There's a place here, like Great Wolf Lodge or like a Disney World, where it's just families everywhere. That's just imagine like Disney World with families just everywhere you look, but that's downtown. That's just the city downtown on a Saturday, just walking around. There's families everywhere in Mongolia. So by that, I gather that the women are looking for a man to have a family with. So that alone is a very big contrast to the Western, mindset. They want someone they can build with. They're not looking for, culturally speaking, they just don't look for what we'd say casual dating, um, relationships that aren't going to go anywhere. And number two, I would say probably a Mongolian guy, honestly. Um, there are foreigners there, usually backpackers. So the idea of getting a man who's only there for a few weeks probably doesn't resonate well with Mongolian women. especially given how protective the men are in general to begin with. Not to say it can't happen, but I think, in answer to your question, I think they're probably looking for a Mongolian man to build a family with. Um, yeah.
Awesome, bro. So, brothers, make sure you join the IP community on the Reddit page. You can see on the screen there. If you don't have a Reddit account, make a Reddit account. If you have a Reddit account, go on that link there and join the IP official community on Reddit. I'm building more communities coming soon. I will announce it, but this time Reddit. Okay, go and join the Reddit page. Make posts, ask questions. I will answer it. Let's build that community out. So Joseph here, right? Let me ask this question, brother. Um, so let me ask this, brother. Okay. Uh, how should we as men dress out there in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, for women to be attracted to us, brother? Do we come through wearing 4XL white tee, gold teeth, gold chain, Timberland boots, 3/4 jeans, Echo coat, Echo shirt, red bandana, and a New York Jet snapback, and some gold grills in our teeth, brother? Is that enough or no?
Brother, I would say avoid that. Avoid that. Definitely avoid that. The look that from what I saw, and this will probably surprise you and surprise a lot of the brothers listening. The look that seemed every day, and it seemed like almost like probably the archetype would be kind of like the REI chic kind of mountaineering rugged look. It's like a rugged Wild West. Yeah, it's very like go to REI, get some of those pants that are kind of like hiking and camping, some jeans, some durable jeans, Merrell hiking boots, one of those puffy jackets, with a nice material, because it's a very, very rugged society. Get some nice clothes for going out, a nice blazer, some jeans, some dress shoes or loafers for going out. But everyday people there is like just a rugged, worldview. So go, just open a REI catalog or even a 511. I don't know if you want to go 511, but that's like a tactical outfitter here in the States. But certainly REI, they have a very, very camping, camper, hiker, chic look going on in Mongolia.
RAI.
REI. I'm not a
Oh,
REI salesman. This is like hiking and camping gear. People love that in Mongolia, but like the chic kind, the fashionable, camping kind.
interesting, bro. I'm more of a suit guy, bro. I'm more of a polo shirt and some brown chinos. I'm more of a white tee with some black jeans and black shoes. Keep it color coordinated, but still casual and still effective. That ain't enough for Mongolian chicks, bro. They want that, they want that mountain type of dude that chops wood at 3 a.m. In the morning.
Yeah, it would be more closer to the lumberjack look than it would be the smart casual. Smart casual in Mongolia, it would be almost like the ladies there would probably be disgusted, by the feminine energy you're giving off. That's just the worldview there. It's a rugged society. It's a very tough, rugged, situation. The city, Ulaanbaatar and everything like that, it's going to be modern. It's going to have your modern conveniences, but that doesn't change the worldview. They're very, very hardy, very, very hardy people for sure.
Incredible. So let's open up the phone lines, Joseph. I've got some questions here, but we've got half an hour left, so I want to get people to call and ask you questions as well, brother, and spread the love and spread the question as well. So great live stream so far, brothers. Show me some support. Hit the super chat if you can. Show me some support. That'd be greatly appreciated. Join the Patreon too to show me some love, man. Okay. Um, awesome. So let me open up the phone lines. If you have any questions for our guests, please call in. If you want to share your experience with a Mongolian woman or your time in Mongolia, now's the time. So call in. We've got half an hour left, okay? So while I wait for a call, I'm going to ask the brother Joseph some more questions here. So call in. Let me pin that to the live stream chat real quick, okay? Replace pin message. Awesome. So call in. Phone lines are open. So let me ask this brother, right? Hmm. Tell me Tell me five things, right, you didn't like about what you observed about Mongolian women, or a couple things if there isn't five things.
Well, I would say if one would just be the kind of distant, kind of standoffish, but who wouldn't be in a public, city, bustling city, people coming and going, I guess. But it is in contrast, if you contrast that to Thailand, where the women will literally be almost catcalling you, depending on where you are, of course, and hopefully they are, um, you know, have two X chromosomes and stuff. But I'm just saying the culture is not. It would be like a 180 from like a Thailand to where the ladies are. They may even, in Thailand, they may even touch you as you walk by. They may say something to you. They may make a gesture or a noise or like, indicate like, come over here kind of thing. Mongolia is not going to be like that at all. And that's why I say you almost have to have like a certain clique or a certain subculture that you're already connected to, like like I said, like your company, your job, if you get sent out there for work, or like a English school, or a sports team or something like that, to where you're introduced to people. But like I said, you can make your own way. Salsa is a great place, something I always enjoy wherever I go, to where people are just open, as a matter of default. But that would be kind of the number one thing that I would say would be a con, if there's anything, um, to try to get a Mongolian lady to, open up the possibility of a future connection with you just out of nowhere on the street, or from a cold approach, let's say. That would be very difficult. It's not culturally, that's just not how they do things culturally there. So
Awesome, awesome. All right, brother Colin. Now's the time for y'all to share your opinions and your question. If not, send it through a super chat. So, next question for you, brother, is what's the ratio of women to men in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia? More women than men, or vice versa, or is it 50-50?
I didn't see an imbalance, to be honest with you. It didn't seem imbalanced either way. uh I saw so many women that were already with guys, like, obviously married or in a relationship. So I can't say that, basically, obviously it's 1 to 1 if you're looking at couples, but I can't say that I saw a great imbalance either direction. I can tell you that some of the places I've been, or at least told me, you could notice the difference in the ratio. For example, I had family that were military in the past. They said that being in the like the Slavic region in the 90s, you could see there were twice as many girls as there were guys because of all the conflict there. So I didn't see anything, noticeably different as far as one versus the other in Mongolia. If anything, I would say the children almost outnumber the adults there. If I could, just on a Saturday, afternoon, it's just crazy.
Awesome. Now, brother, the topic of women having male friends, is that a problem with Mongolian women? Having male friends that we see in the West, or that's not, that won't be an issue if you're dating one.
You mean male friends, as in, a single Mongolian girl having male friends? Is it allowed? Or are you talking about a girl that you're dating having male friends? Is that a cultural norm?
I would say both, bro.
Both. I
Yes.
would say a modern woman in Mongolia can certainly have male friends. It probably wouldn't be as prevalent in the West, as in phone going off every 10 seconds, with messages and, communications and stuff like that under the radar. But when you go to, if you go to any Mongolian, restaurant and mall, you're gonna see young people. I mean, just YouTube right now, any kind of walking tour of Ulaanbaatar, you'll see what I mean. You'll see young people just living their lives day to day, students, kids, young professionals, people just out with their coworkers. it's got us so many of the same things that you and I would experience on a day-to-day basis. So women, they have social connections there, and whether they be platonic or not, you're going to see women out with men that they're socially, you know in some type of social connection to. But in answer to the second question, like a Mongolian woman with in a relationship or with a husband, with male friends that she's in communication with. Again, I couldn't tell you from personal experience because I did not date a Mongolian woman out there. But just again, from just what I observed culturally, it would be almost guaranteed that there's going to be a clash, and rightly so, between her current partner and whatever male friends that she has. And so what I mean by that is contrast that to the West, where if a woman has male friends, let's say you're in a relationship with a woman, I don't know why you would do that to yourself in the West, heaven forbid. But if you were to try that and you have a relationship with a woman in the West, and she openly tells you that this is my friend, that's my friend, and that's my friend, according to their worldview here, you would be in the wrong for having a problem with that. You would be in the wrong for questioning that. You would be in the wrong for trying to stop that from happening.
Mm.
From the Mongolian perspective, the perspective is 180. So whether or not there's actual going to be like fights that take place, I can't say, but I'm saying the perspective alone would be 180-degree reversed. So that the idea of her having male friends when she's already married, or the idea of her having male friends when she's in a long-term relationship, it would just be against their whole worldview, and it would also be met with you know constant checks and balances, that no longer exist here in the West, is what I'm saying.
Yes, indeed, bro. Yes, indeed. Um, so still waiting for our first caller, brother. I want to ask you about the N word, brother. So when you were out there, were you called any slurs? Did they say the N word towards you? Did you hear the N word when you were outside being said by them when they were playing hip hop music or rap music? Any sort of racial slur said towards you, bro, or sitting out in the open?
Nothing said towards me out in the open. However, I will tell you the I'll tell you one anecdote, and you can take from that whatever you will. But so I was asked by one of the managers at the company I was there for, what was my background, what was my ethnic background, because they could see that I don't look like what normally they would see as a Westerner. So I told him, hey, I'm black and Korean, and my mother's black, my mother's Korean, and my father's black. And the reaction that I got was like the facial expression was almost like incredulous. Like it wasn't like anger or anything that would constitute anger or anything like disgust. It was kind of like confusion and kind of like disbelief. So that's how the thinking is in Mongolia, even to this day. It's almost like and this was a guy, so I can't speak for the ladies, but it wasn't like racial, prejudice. Let's say it wasn't hatred towards black people. It was almost like confusion. Like, how could that be? It didn't make any sense to this guy. And again, this was an older guy, one of the managers in the company that I was there consulting with. So it was like confusion more so than like racism. So there was no racism towards me in that regard at all. I will say I went to a sports bar, and they had a NBA game on, and I can't say from memory exactly if that word was used, but I can say that they had because it was like a sports bar, you know, kind of situation. It was a sports bar, but I mean it was like a hip hop vibe to the place in general. I believe they had like 50 Cent or something playing at some point that night. That word may have been used. I can't remember exactly, but I would say that if it was used in the song itself, not by anyone who was there. And it wasn't, you know, if it was used, probably I'm guessing it was because of the artist himself, but it wasn't used in a negative light by any locals. And I will say as well, from their perspective, 50 Cent and other artists and rappers like him represent what black culture is in general. So when they think of a black person, they would think of 50 Cent or they would think of that type of music. So for
Mm.
them, like probably like in Korea, the people wouldn't have any negative thoughts in their mind about a black person who happened to be there or in general. They would just think this is what black people, we ourselves, are about or that we ourselves promote or like. So I would say I agree with what you say in a lot of your streams and even your, I think last night, you asked about the N word and how if it was used and how we as brothers and passport brothers need to stop using it and leave it out of our vocabulary when we travel abroad. I agree with you 100% because a lot of the places that we may find ourselves, the people there might not know any better in terms of they may not see or meet well to do, successful, traveling, enterprising black men from the West. So they may only see 50 Cent or whatever rapper, and in their mind, that is black culture. So I would say, yeah, I agree with you. We need to do our part to can take control of the narrative as far as how we're seen in the world.
Yes, indeed. No, that's a great point. That um, I think the N word use is not good on our part, and that's got to stop if we want to be taken seriously on a worldwide scale and basis. I think there needs to be a re-image of the image of the black man in terms of us wearing suits, us speaking eloquently, us taking education seriously, IT, tech, business, and not rapping and not going on music videos saying the N word this, N word that. It's not a good look. It doesn't apply to me. I'm an educated brother, and I don't want to be grouped in with a bunch of rappers that say the N word, rap about killing their own people. Don't put me in that sort of circle. So we got to change that, and we'll work towards that when things go our way. 2024 will be the best year in our lives so far. I know it will be. I guarantee you, girlfriend, wives, crypto, the whole nine yard is coming. Be patient. So we got a caller. Plymouth, can you turn your camera on in the background so I know you're not a troll, please, fam? You get me, yeah? Just you confirm Plymouth. Thank you, bro. Turn your camera off, please. Let me bring in Mr. Plymouth in the background for you, Joseph. How you doing, Plymouth? You good, yeah, bro? We saying?
Hey,
We saying you
How,
good, yeah?
how's it going?
um, yeah, I'm doing all right.
Good,
Awesome.
good, good.
Yeah, I got a couple questions. I'm tuning in late. I don't know if you already answered these, but um, how's the language situation over there? Can you get around with just English, or do you need Russian or Mongolian, or
We answered
any?
that. Next question. We answered that already, bro.
Okay. Um, what about the air quality? You have problems breathing?
That's a great question. I did not have problems breathing. Mongolia itself is called the land of the blue sky because it is known for almost like Montana, like big sky country. As far as you can see in any direction, almost anywhere in Mongolia, it's going to be blue sky, almost no clouds in the sky, clean air, just like you would see in some documentaries. There was a pretty good documentary not too long ago about Genghis Khan. I think it had the Korean actor playing Genghis Khan as well, Ma Dong Suk. I'm not sure, but either way, if you watch the documentary, you'll see like the rolling green steppes of Mongolia, just the beautiful expanse. The sky is just a very, very natural country. A lot of clean air, very little pollution. Although Ulaanbaatar, it can get a little bit hazy, but it's not going to be anything like we would normally, air quality wise, like we would normally experience in the West, in the big city. Um, it's going to be mostly just very, very pristine, natural air and just beautiful outdoors. Great question.
Okay.
hmm
Do you think you could find a Mongolian chick that will be open and move into a warmer country like the Philippines?
I think so. I met a Mongolian lady. She was in Hawaii. I met her at the gym actually a couple years ago, and she asked me, I was like, "Hey, where are you from?" And she's like, "You'll never guess where I'm from." And I didn't guess, but when she said Mongolia, we had a little bit to talk about. So there are Mongolian people who travel abroad. For everything you see on, let's say, National Geographic or stuff like that, Mongolia is not a world away. It's a little bit harder to reach than some of the more heavily trafficked, touristy locations. But you have Mongolian people who enjoy traveling, especially to like Korea. I think that's one of their touristy destinations. Actually, is Korea. A lot of Mongolians enjoy going to Korea, if I'm not mistaken.
That is
As
true.
far as yeah, as
I
far as
met
moving to
one
the, go ahead, go
this
ahead.
year. No, I
Wait,
met one last month, bro.
was she
This
a
month.
baddie?
She was cute. Yeah, she was, bro.
And how about her demeanor? It was unique? I'm guessing in that regard. Like it struck you that she was from a different place. Am I right?
Absolutely, bro. Breath of fresh air, easy to speak with, smiley. I'm like, is that what it's like to be with a Mongolian chick? I gotta get one in the future if possible. You're speaking facts so far, bro. They are
Exactly.
breed.
And and that's why I say the dichotomy between the genders, male and female. I mean, if the Mongolian men are so macho, imagine how feminine the women are. And
Yeah.
I think that's natural, right? Like you even see that in nature. But look at the different cultures. Like you would even see you imagine like Russian guys, they're known for being super macho, and then Russian women are known for being very feminine. I
Mm.
think it's a natural dichotomy. So with all the masculine energy that the men have, imagine the opposite for the women. So that's why I say about the just the energy you get from them is 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 different. You just notice. And if you brothers have been to other places like Thailand and everything, I'm not saying you can't find it anywhere else. I'm just saying if you're used to the Western energy that you get from the ladies, you're gonna be like, wow. If you ever meet a Mongolian lady abroad or in Korea, or in the States even, you're gonna be like, okay, this is totally different.
Go on, Plymouth. We got 10 minutes
Okay.
left. Go on. You have any questions?
Okay. I'm reading that they have some Kazakhs there, but it's like mostly a Buddhist country. What do you think about the religion there? Did that come up?
We touched on that. Yep, we touched on that. I would say, as far as the ethnicity, we didn't speak on that too much. Kazakhs, yes. I'm not an expert on the breakdown on that, but just in general, the Mongolian people are very Eurasian, which is very that alone. I mean, we didn't really talk about it yet, but that alone is such an amazing quality of just the experience of being there. They have very, very Eurasian features. So green eyes, blue eyes, they're Asian. Just imagine like, Korean or wherever you guys have traveled, but with natural green eyes,
Oh,
natural blue eyes. Yes, exactly.
what? Damn.
Yes, yes. Because
Whoa.
because they are very, they border Russia and they're with all the intermingling politically and ethnically. As far even the Mongols, of course, as far as the Khans, they have a lot of natural, light colored eyes, and it's very interesting to see and very beautiful. A lot of beauty in that.
Yeah, they're muscular, right? They're more muscular than Japanese, right? Japanese girls.
I would say they're definitely more curvy. I think that speaks to the ethnic mixing as well. Whereas Japan had that isolation history in the past, Mongolia had like the opposite. With the Khans and all the genetic mixing, and then on top of that, they border Russia right there too. So all of the different mingling and the mixing over the centuries, you see a different look in Mongolia for sure.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for that, Plymouth. Fantastic. So we're down to our last 7 minutes, brothers. So if you have any questions, please feel free to hear us in the super chat or call in. As you can see, you want to make sure you join the IP Reddit community page where you can ask your questions there. You can post questions there, share intel there. Let's blow it up worldwide and get the Passport Bros movement more popping than it is right now. Awesome. This has been a great stream so far. Mr. Joseph. Do I have any questions? I think I'm out of questions, bro. You've answered all my questions very kindly, brother. Before we let you go, Joseph, I know you're a busy man. Do you have any closing statements, bro, in regards to Mongolia or whatever?
I do, yes, sir, yes, sir. First, I would say, brothers, for me as a brother and as a traveling man, as a working man here in the West, I highly advise, get yourself on track with your all the components of yourself. So the spiritual, I recommend, in my case, I believe in Christ. I recommend give your life to Christ, seek Him out, go to visit a Church of Christ if you can, get baptized, and so He can add you to the church, because the Word has certainly guided my life. Not perfect by any means, but trying very hard every day. And I think it's important to have a code to live by, and that's a huge factor for me. Number two, gentlemen, I highly advise you to uh, get yourself out of the West and see the world. If not to, find that partner for life, just to experience the world, because there's so much of the world to see. And I can tell you that as a traveling man for some time, been to maybe 42, 43 countries. I can tell you there is uh, a lot of other ways to see yourself other than the American narrative as a black man. I'm sure it's not too different in England as well, where we have to be people's entertainers and athletes. We have to be people's, you
Mm.
know, let's say a roll in the hay. If you're a black man, a lot of women, black and non-black women, just want you for a roll in the hay kind of experience. You're not coming home for Thanksgiving kind of experience. Just what do you call it? The backdoor guy, kind of that kind of mentality. We don't have to be somebody's athletes and entertainers and down low, backdoor guy. We are respectable. We have endured a lot as a group, on the whole, in the Western society. So we certainly don't have to accept the narrative that they have for us to accept. And part of that, I believe, is going to see the world, even if it has nothing to do with love and romance. Just go see the world, and that's one reason why I wanted to come on today and talk about Mongolia, because there may not be an opportunity for your average Western man of any color, romantically in Mongolia as easily as you would find it in another country. But it's a great place of adventure. It's a great place of discovery. And with all the different backpackers and adventurers and hikers and mountain climbers, not mountain climbers, but just people that go through there for their own reasons, you hardly see any Black American men go through there.
Mm.
And I think that's something that should change. We should be seeing the world, exploring the world, and not accepting any of the negative stereotypes that the other Occidental, let's say, societies have for us, i.e., we're just, SE, you know what, Pats,
Mm.
i.e., we're just there to, cause trouble or to spread our dysfunctional, you know, subculture, as they would say. We are men. We have endured so much in the history of the West. And so our strength of character is a lot more than even we give ourselves credit for. So I would say go see the world. And when you go, leave all this Western, narratives behind. The whole Pookie Ray Ray idea of what you need to do to get rewarded romantically, sexually, or what have you. Leave that behind, and just be an adventurer and explorer and a man of character and dignity and integrity, and enjoy your life in that way. I would say that's what I recommend, brothers.
Amazing, bro. Amazing. Mr. Joseph, I've got a caller, but feel free to leave anytime you want to, bro. Let me,
Oh,
let
go
me
ahead.
bring Mr. Jay Jav. Jay, give me a thumbs up. Camera on. Is that okay, bro? Okay, awesome. Let me bring Mr. Jay Jav. Theo, wife in the building. What's up, Theo, bro? Got Theo in the building. He says here, we are there in Mongolia to build AWS cloud apps in Python. This is the way. Yes, indeed, man. Yes, indeed. Theo, wife in the building. Let's get it cracking, man. Let me bring
Okay.
Mr. Jay. What's going on, Jay?
Hey, how's it going, fellas? How y'all doing tonight?
I'm doing
Good,
good, bro.
good. Happy
How you doing, bro?
Thanksgiving.
Likewise, thank you, thank you. I just first I want to say I want to thank and congratulate everybody who's on this line street right now who want to seek further success inside their life as Black men or men or like melanated men in general. I want to thank y'all for growing, and I do I appreciate that a lot.
Awesome. Thank you for the kind
Absolutely.
words, bro.
Absolutely. I feel the
Yeah.
same.
Yes, but yeah. So as of right now, I'm talking to a Mongolian female.
Okay. All right.
Very nice woman. Very nice, very goal focused, or she's like orientated about goals, about having a family unit. She doesn't go to the bar, doesn't go to the club. Very well cultured.
Absolutely. How'd
Yeah.
you meet her?
I met her on Tinder.
All right. In the States?
Now, what happened? I was planning a trip to Saigon, so I was on there swiping. I matched with her, and we've been rocking ever since.
Nice. Nice. Congratulations, brother.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but it seems like the Mongolian females.
Background
They,
noise. No background noise, please. Go to a quiet place, please.
uh, my apologies. Yeah, it
While you're
seemed
doing
like
that, hold on, sorry. Shout out to Mr. Royal Black for the $2 22 cent super chat. I appreciate it, Royal Black, for the support. 100% needs to be a black man with image. Starts with us. It's indeed. It starts with us as passport bros. That's why the movement needs to grow bigger. Let's change our image. Let's get out there. Let's make the world know that we as brothers ain't no Pookie and Ray Ray. We about that ish, man. Appreciate you, bro. Go on, Mr. J.
yes, sir. It seemed like Mongolian women, based on my interactions with her, they just want three things: a loyal person, a person that has a future, and a person who they can have a great time with.
Mm.
They don't care about nothing else, no drama, nothing like that. They just want to relax and have fun.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So thank you, J Zav. I'm gonna wrap up as well. So once again, Joseph, thank you very much for the intel. Jay, thanks for calling in. Thanks to all those who hit the super chat. I want to say, please continue to support what I do. Join the Reddit community page over there to be a part of the Passport Bros movement made by me. I created that page. So let's get it cracking. Post on there, ask questions. I will do my best to answer it, or you can answer my questions, etc., etc. Also, make sure you please join the Patreon as well. Try and show me some support. The Matrix is doing something fishy, but I will describe that later on. But I will say, just support me while you can, please. I'll be greatly appreciated. Like the video, share my content around, cop the merch, and of course, keep watching the channels, keep being involved, get into IT, book your consultations with me. IT is the way. Let's keep pushing forward, man. Let's keep pushing forward. And once again, Joseph, thank you very much. We'll have you on the channel in the future. I wish you all a great week ahead. And I will speak to you, brothers, very soon. Peace out. Thank you very, very much.